What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode here on Futbol Asada. I'm your host, Andre, with my co-host.
Yo, what up, boys? It's Hatcher Chris.
And today we got some pretty unfortunate news that I know some of you guys are aware of. Santi Gimenez is confirmed out because of injury for 3 months, man. 3 months, which means he's going to miss the game against Man City, potentially the one against Bayern, and obviously the friendly against the U.S. at the Estadio Akron. So it's a big loss. But before we continue the discussion, make sure to click the links down below to join our Discord, follow all of our socials on Instagram, every platform, you name it. So yeah, what are your first thoughts about Santi's injury?
Obviously, it is unfortunate. It sucks. It probably couldn't have come at a worse time. He stayed in the Eredivisie, I guess, for a third season, which I wasn't really a fan of. I thought he should have left. I think he's already proven a lot in that league, or enough, literally, to get a bigger move. And I was kind of holding out hope that he'd get a move in January. Maybe he'd be impresses in the Eredivisie this season and the Champions League. And he was off to a hot start too. I think he had 4 or 5 goals in his first couple games. So I was holding out a move in January, maybe a team that will make a move for him in the winter transfer window. That's pretty much dead now because he's not going to play at all until 2025. He's going to miss the Mexico USA game. He's going to miss the next 2 international windows, which actually scares me more than his club form, to be honest with you, because I can see another striker just out of coincidence balling out in these next couple windows, and then Santi's not the starter anymore going into 2025. So it is worrying, but I hope he just comes out back stronger, bro. I mean, it's not a devastating injury where he's out for a whole season, but 3 months is kind of a long time. It's not looking good.
Yeah, like you said, it couldn't have come at a worse time because right now, the past couple of weeks, he's been in sort of a drop of form, and we really wanted him to start picking his form back for these Champions League games, for the friendlies against Mexico, and now we're going to have to wait till next year. And like you said, what if, we see Raul Jimenez is back-to-back goals in the Prem. What if he starts and he freaking claims that spot with Javier Aguirre, you know?
That's a good segue question. Now that Santi's out, Santi's confirmed out. So for 3 months, it kind of sucks because the only reason we wanted him at Feyenoord, or some people did, was to play Champions League, and now that's taken away. But anyways, I guess moving forward, there's no Santi. Who would you start at striker? Would you bring back Raul? Who would be your starting striker right now? I mean, through 2025, basically.
So obviously it's the 3 candidates are Raul Jimenez, Julian Quinones, Henry Martin. But before I give my preference, let me give you guys the stat of each one so far in their league this season. So Henry Martin for Club America and Liga MX this season has 9 games, 5 goals, 2 assists. So 7 goal contributions in 9 games. Pretty good. Raul Jimenez for Fulham, 5 games, 2 goals in the Prem, which were back-to-back. And then Julian Quinones, just in the league for Al Kirash, whatever, I don't even know how to pronounce it. 3 games, 2 goals, and he just bagged the brace, but that was a King's Cup. It was a domestic tournament. So I'd say all 3 of them are in form right now. But my preference would be a 2-striker formation with Julian Quinones and Raul Jimenez. I think I've been crying out for a 2-striker formation for a really long time now, with either Quinones and Santi up top or whoever else with Santi. But I think those 2 players will really benefit each other. We see how Quinones is playing in that position for his club in Saudi. We saw how he played in that position for America, for Atlas. And then Jimenez, I mean, he's a target man, you know? He knows how to hold up the ball. He knows how to link up play. He's a good finisher. And yeah, I think I'd say those 2. But for Henry Martin, okay, he's doing good, but for Club America, he's doing good in Liga MX. That shouldn't guarantee him for him to be a starter for the national team, you know?
Even with or without Santi, I think we do need to start testing out a 2-striker formation, because we've seen that the 4-3-3 or even 4-2-3-1, with the players we have, the strikers get no service, bro. It doesn't matter who is up top, the strikers get nothing. It doesn't matter if Santi's informed, Raul's informed. The strikers in the 1-striker formation have not been getting any service from our wingers, from our creative midfielders, or lack of creative midfielders. So I think we do need to test out a 2-striker formation, and I would be a fan of that. I would probably go with Raul and Quinones, because I also think Quinones himself is not good on either wing. I think he also needs to be up top. So that's what I would want to see as well. And I've been one of the first people to say that Raul shouldn't be on the national team anymore. After the 2022 World Cup, I thought what he did was super selfish. Playing in that World Cup, knowing he was injured, knowing he had not played a single minute in months, taking a spot away from Santi. But due to circumstances, nobody has stepped up, bro. In the last, it's almost been 2 years since the World Cup, because the World Cup was in the winter. It's almost been 2 years, and there's no other young striker outside of Santi Gimenez, who's now injured. There's no one who stepped up. I really wish I could be here telling you Like, oh no, we don't need 33, 34-year-old Raul Jimenez. We don't need Henry Martin because we have so and so and so and so stepping up and getting a bunch of minutes in Liga MX, or they made a move to Europe and they're bagging goals. But that hasn't happened. Like, the development in Mexico with strikers has completely stopped. There's no young strikers on the come up. Like, yes, you can like throw in Hormiga Gonzalez, but I think he's played less than 300 minutes total in the season. He has bagged, I think, 3-4 goals, which is good. But to expect him to come in and be a lock starter in La Selección, I don't know. He's definitely not better than Raul Jimenez. Like, as much as I would love to say, like, there's all these other strikers better than him, there's just not. So he has to come back by default. Like, we're Mexico, bro. I think someone on Fox Deportes, I think it might have been Rafa Marquez Lugo, said, like, of course we need to bring Raul Jimenez back because he's playing in the Prem, like, scoring goals in the Prem. Like, Mexico isn't Brazil. We're not France. We're not this team that has a bunch of stacked players that we can afford to leave someone who's playing in the Premier League like out of the squad. Like, he should be one of the first people in. And I mean, I agree with him. Like, unless Raul Jimenez wasn't doing anything and he was being a bench warmer, then whatever. But he's been starting some games. He's scored in back-to-back games. Like, I think he has to be in the team and probably the starter. Like, I would start him and Quinones up top. But if there's only one striker formation, I would still just go with him. And yeah, I think that's going to be the short-term solution. I still believe Santi's a long-term solution, or even as soon as Santi comes back, hopefully he comes back in January, picks up his form again, hopefully for the Nations League and around March and like the Gold Cup next summer, like, it's still Santi is the guy. And you never know, there might be a world where Santi and Raul play together up top. But yeah, I think that's where we're at right now, to be honest.
I think I'm in the same boat as you when it comes to Raul Jimenez. I was very upset at him for being in the World Cup. He didn't have any minutes for Wolves leading up to it, and then obviously that injury he had, he just wasn't up for it. And yes, he selfishly stayed in the team, which caused Santi to be out of the team. So since that moment, I think I guess you say, because I did kind of idol Raul Jimenez. I always thought he was a good striker, probably one of the best primes in a Mexico player I've ever seen. But since that moment, I just lost all respect for him. But you can't deny stats. You can't deny form. And if he's the best striker we have right now, then so be it. And especially he's doing the Premier League, he has to start now, you know?
But I also think one of the main things with Mexico and the strikers, like I said, I don't think the strikers have been the problem necessarily over the last couple years. Because like you said, even Henry Martin puts up great numbers for Club America. Raul Jimenez picking up form. But even when Santi Gimenez is absolutely killing it in the Eredivisie and the Europa League and the Champions League, Mexico can't figure it out. I think it's more the creative midfielders. That's the change that actually needs to happen, like, on the field, to see these strikers produce. Because Raul Jimenez can be in form right now, but if there's no change to the creative midfielders and their wingers, he's not going to do anything either in these next couple windows. We cannot have attacking midfielders like Charlie Rodriguez, guys who produce absolutely nothing. Like, no more Antuna as wingers. You need to play like your best player, your most creative players, like more Chino Huerta, more like Marcelo Flores, guys who know how to like create like on their own and like open up the play for other people, not just like the same guys over and over and over again.
The main problem I see with the strikers is they're always isolated. They're always like, Santi is pretty much non-existent when it comes to him playing for Mexico. Like, gets maybe 2 shots at best at every game. But that's why I feel with 2 strikers, they'll link up more. They'll get the ball like way more. I think one of them could drop more, one could stay behind. But it's just very frustrating that us fans are the ones seeing this and obviously pointing out the main issue, but yet these managers have yet to try out this 2-striker formation or try to switch something, you know? We've been trying this 4-3-3 for the longest time, and it hasn't worked, which is annoying. As much as I like the 4-3-3 formation, we're not a 4-3-3 team. We don't have those creative players that could play with just one striker up top. We're not. That's why we have to play with 2 strikers up top. We have to work our way with how Mexico really benefits from. So defense and having 2 strikers up top. I think that was it, boys. Any last comments?
Gotta wish Santi a speedy and full recovery.
Yeah, let us know in the comments who you guys would start. If it's 2 of them, if it's 1, whichever. We will listen to all your comments. And make sure to stay tuned next week. Hit the post notifications to be informed when that goes up. And we'll catch you guys next time.